Probably give you a little update on Father Simon. A lot of people have been asking. He's doing very, very well. He had surgery on his left foot on Wednesday, Ash Wednesday, and doctor was very happy with the surgery. They put in two kind of metal clips that interlace to keep his foot together, the doctor said at least 2 weeks in the cast. By the way, he's very liturgical. His cast is purple. I was impressed. Yeah. He went all the way. And then at least 2 weeks on the boot after that. So we'll just wait and see. His pain level is way down. He's doing very well. He's very grateful for your prayers. And he said, keep them coming. But he's in good spirits. He's in good spirits. So just keep praying for him. Your prayers are really paying off. A word about this gospel with Jesus being tempted in the desert. Maybe it would be interesting, first of all, try to think of your main area of temptations. We all have kind of areas we struggle with. Probably no two people are exactly the same, but they seem to come down pretty much to the 7 capital sins. So just be thinking of your particular struggle with temptation as we go through a few points tonight. First of all, temptation is not sin. It's important that we get that real clear. Temptation is just temptation, it's not sin. Jesus was tempted, as we just heard, but he never sinned. He was true man, true God, but he was also true man. And as true man, he was tempted. And that means he can understand our temptations. He can say, yes, I've been there, to every one of our temptations as well. But although temptation is not a sin, it is a big deal. Temptation stands at the crossroads of 2 roads, right? And it's a crucial crossroads. If I go one way, I'm going to take the path of sin. And if I go another way, I'm going to take the path of virtue, the path of God. So temptation is extremely important, and how we respond to it, of course, is even more important. Bad news, temptations will last our whole life long. There's an Irish blessing that says, may you be dead a half an hour before the devil even knows it. Because it's true, temptation is a lifelong. I'm tempted at 75. I'm sure at 76 it's going to be all better, right? No, not really. It's a lifelong phenomenon. So don't be discouraged when temptations continue. In fact, I think the devil loves to get us discouraged. Oh my gosh, when are these temptations going to stop? And that can kind of make us ripe for a fall, for a sin. It's part of our lot in life as human beings. There's some positives about temptation. First of all, temptation teaches us to run to Jesus Christ, to a strength greater than our own and far greater than that of the tempter, the devil. So that's always good when we're running for help to our Lord. There's kind of a way not to do it, not to handle temptation, which what I would say classic would be Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve said, we got this, and of course they didn't have it at all. They didn't run to God. They stayed there in dialogue with Satan, which is never a good idea. We run to our Lord. We can run to the saints. I was thinking, just off the top of my head, there's a lot of beautiful prayers where we invoke the help of the saints in fighting temptation. St. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray, and do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, thrust into hell Satan and all the other evil spirits who roam the world seeking the ruin of souls. So it's a classic prayer invoking the help of the saints in our struggle with temptation. The Memorare, remember, Most Blessed Virgin Mary, never was it known that anyone who fled to your protection, implored your help, or sought your intercession was left unaided. So a holy and a wise thing to do when we're tempted is to run to the saints, and of course to our Lord as well. Never fight by yourself. With temptation faithfully resisted, we learn that we become stronger, and we're more likely to recognize that temptation when it comes again. Oh, I've been down this road before, and to turn away from it immediately. I was thinking, a few months ago I was on my day off in my condo in Dixon, and I was watching television in the living room. A movie came on. It wasn't terrible, but it was a long ways from good. But I had that little that little battle back and forth, this isn't really that bad. I thought, Dan, what are you thinking? And I hit sports to see a football game instead. And you know, since that time, there seems to be like a peace in my living room in my condo. And like a pattern established that it belongs to the Lord and the values of our Lord. So temptation resisted helps us to progress through any future trials as well. I think temptation helps us be really clear about who our friends are, God, and who our enemies are, Satan, and how miserable we'll be if we give in to him. Temptation resisted deepens our trust in God. Temptations keep us humble, don't they? They're wonderful. You know that beautiful phrase, there but for fortune go you and I. It's true. We can't really judge anybody in that sense. We say, Lord, thank you for protecting me from that, but without your protection, I could be right there. So temptations keep us humble in realizing how much we need God's help and that we're not really superior to our fallen brothers and sisters at all. Bad news in a way, good news, bad news, the more serious we become about following the Christ, the more we'll be tempted. If we're not following Jesus, we're kind of in Satan's hip pocket. He doesn't need to bother tempting us. He's already got us. But as we become more and more serious about our faith, about following Jesus Christ, we should presume we're going to experience more temptations in our life. The great saints teach us to be especially vigilant at the beginning of the temptation, at the very start. Growing up, we had a phrase, which I never heard recently, called don't entertain it. I don't think that's too bad of a phrase. Don't invite temptation in, well, maybe I'll play patty cake with you a little bit. I'll think about it. No. At the first blush of temptation, get out of there. Don't let it enter your mind. Bishop Sheen was kind of the guru for this. He always said, turn from temptation immediately and let a wholesome thought push out the bad thought. So any thought you can think of, what am I going to make for supper tonight? What have I got looking for me at work tomorrow? It doesn't matter. Let any thought just push out instantly that thought of temptation. Maybe an example, forgiveness. Let's say somebody really did me wrong and I'm having a hard time forgiving them. And so here I go thinking again of that incident, that hurt, over and over in my mind, which of course I'm never going to be able to forgive them. That's like building a dam across the river. The water is just going to back up behind the dam. No forgiveness is possible. So if I want to be serious about it, the first blush that I start rehearsing that painful incident, take a wholesome thought and push it right out of my mind. And if we do that faithfully, that forgiveness is going to gradually come with God's help. Summary. Human life on earth is warfare. Pope John Paul II talked about this all the time. St. Peter says, your adversary, the devil, goes about like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. So, human life is warfare, not a cakewalk. Expect it. The devil is a tempter. The devil's going to be the devil. Engage the battle. Don't just give in. Whatever your temptation, whatever your desert is, whether it's little irritations or spiritual problems that won't go away, or even a struggle with despair or something like that, whatever your temptation is, our Lord Jesus Christ wants to come to you to bring you out of your desert, out of that temptation, to be the strength that you need to live a holy life. It's his greatest desire because he wants us with him in heaven. So he's always available to help us out. At the end of the day, it's about Jesus and about his faithfulness to us always.